What is one thing that you would suggest to our listeners that they can apply in their life today?
Set release dates. So yeah, I know that sounds very specific, but maybe the real life analog, if you don't have, putting out videos or updates or whatever, is scheduling your time. That is something that I personally am not good at. But what I can do is put a target date on a calendar and know that I need to get something done before then. So sometimes that might be like last minute procrastination, but a lot of times it at least frames the amount of time that you have to get to the end goal. And uh, if you have a community that is following you, setting their expectations for when something will be made available to them is super important because it allows them to not only plan around that particular day, but also start getting excited, start asking questions about what's coming. And then if you miss it, it is so much better to ask for forgiveness and push the date back than it is for them to not have an idea of what the date is at all. And the reason for it is let's pretend that Christmas is like, we're all expecting it the same day. We're told that it's gonna happen, and then got pushed back because Santa, maybe Vixen's in the hospital or whatever. Uh, it's gonna be pushed back a week. People would be like, "Okay, that's really disappointing, but at least we know, what's going on." So there's just a level of communication there that I think people will appreciate more than they'll be upset about.
I think you actually hit on two really big things in there. So the first is committing to deadlines, which as an entrepreneur, you are your own boss. And it is very easy for just the day to leech away. So creating deadlines and then committing yourself to finishing them, that discipline is super duper important. And then the other piece that can be pulled out of everything you just said is the communication, setting clear expectations. There's a quote I love that all frustration comes from unmet expectations. So if you haven't communicated to your team, to your kids, to your spouse, to your friends, to your community, what to expect, then that's going to leave them with a whole bunch of frustrating open loops in their head. So the more that you can communicate to the people that you're serving, whether you're in a corporation, leading a team, or you're a subordinate to a supervisor, the more that you can create communication and let people know where you're at, what you're working on, what your situation is, it's going to make it that much easier to keep people from getting frustrated, including yourself. And then obviously, if you start setting deadlines and missing them, now that is telling you something about either your ability to discipline yourself, or it may just be telling you that you need to budget more time in your calendar. You may have expectations that are too high in terms of how much you can get done in a period of time, and it will help you better calibrate. So now you're not under as much stress and pressure because you're setting deadlines that are unrealistic.